Hello again. This is Priscilla Batzell. I'm in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Fluid Art Studio. I am a Color Arte affiliate, so look for the Color Arte coupon code below Show More underneath the video. I am going to combine a bunch of colors that I just used. That's not going to work. This is a 16 by 20 inch canvas, by the way. I'm going to use some Royal Sapphire. Quite a bit of it, actually. Some Fandango. Both of them are Prizm pours. I need enough paint to cover the bottom of the canvas, and I'm not too worried about it. I can always add something else for highlight. This is Seamonster. I believe that this is also a Prizm pour. I want a few other things in there for highlights, but maybe I should start to spread it first. Nebula Star is a primary element. It's pretty dark. I think I'm going to put something lighter in there. I've got some bitter lime. I think it's a primary element. That's a great color. And I want some purples in there. Little indigo violet, which has closed itself up, but I'm pretty sure I can get open. Can I? Yep. The luck of the draw. And I was using earlier, and I want to use again, some Phthalo Turquoise Vivid Intense, which is very similar to the Vivid Blue Green. Or am I not seeing that? Well, I'll just... Ah, I found it. I'm going to fit... Whoops, and it was open. So that's the start. We'll pull out whatever we need to pull out. And we'll add a little of this or that. They mixed more thoroughly than I was anticipating. But I still like what I have. And I want to get a little closer to the center. Or Fandango. Wipe off my spatula on the bottom edge. Pull that thing out that does not belong. And that thing that does not belong. I actually feel like pulling some paint off and putting some other paint in its place. And I have a scrape dish, so maybe I will do that. Highly unusual, but I think what I'm missing is the purple I wanted. And that is African Violet that is also plugged up, and I don't know why. But I do have an alternative. Oh, I've got Twilight Orchid. Give it a little shake. And use a little more Royal Sapphire. mess up the lines. So I have more of a blend of paint. I'm happier with that. Although some of it's pretty dark. I'm going to do the Phthalo Turquoise again. That's a Vivid Intense, if I didn't say. I think I did, but I'm not sure. And because I've got so much paint, it's kind of a mess. Pull that out. That thing that does not belong. Wipe my spatula off on the end. I've got dried paint on my fingertips. It's not helpful. Just going to go right along the bottom. Wish I had clean fingers. And right along this edge. I should just use a clean finger instead of the one with the dried paint on it. Duh. Alright, I'm almost done. I'm going to throw a little bit of red violet in there for whatever crazy reason. That's a Vivid Intense fluorescent. And I do have that dish of paint left over should I want it. And I want something dark, so I think I'm going for the Midnight Shadow right on the blade of my spatula. Now this is the point in time where if somebody wanted to use cell activator, they certainly could. But that's not what this is about for me, so I'm not going to do that. And I'm pretty happy with all of that. I want a little bit brighter green. So I'm going to use the bitter lime. I might wind up putting a horizon line in that's a different color. But right now, I'm just going to move on my sky. After I throw a little bit of texture in there. I wish my bottle of African Violet were open. I think I've got a little bit. It's time to make some more. That makes me want to have blue with it. That did it. That's what I needed. Needed some real purple drama. Now I seem to have plenty of paint. And it looks like I've got something in my painting, but I wonder if maybe it's just a little color. Just trying to mess it up so it's not quite so clean looking. Still a little paint. Yeah, that's working. don't want any canvas showing, and I had a little. I'm going to scrape this off, put a lid on it, throw my spatula in the bucket, get a new spatula, and start again on my sky. I wish they still sold these little dishes at Michael's. So I'm not sure how close I can get to that horizon line, but I can always fill in anything white tomorrow. And I am going to go with, if I can find it, I'm going to start with my Plum Blossom. Some Chantilly lace. A little bit of jasmine. Some red violet fluorescent. A little bit of saffron. This is a weird way of going about this, but I really want to try it. And last but not least, the scary one, poinsettia. And I did this because of the painting I just did. You know what? I've got pink diamond, and I haven't used it lately, and I want to. And if I need some more purple, I think I'm okay for right now. I got a big corona like you get around the sun. That's pretty cool. I could probably put a sun right in there and be pretty happy about it. We'll see what comes about. See how far my paint goes first. I haven't put any yellow in here, and I still want to put some in. Got paint dripping over my edges and over my top. Doesn't bother me right now because that's a good thing. As long as I'm quick about it, I can get away with all kinds of stuff. Like stealing paint from my edges and then putting more in. I'm going to move that down. I should have cleaned my finger off, the one I used to spread edge paint. I don't mind if the colors mix. I kind of like the stripes though. I think it's time to check. Let's start with getting that. Let's start with not putting my finger in the painting. My edge receded, darn. Well, sometimes you need a frame for these. Let's go with sour lemon, orange crush, saffron, and a little more jasmine. That's looking pretty slick. I'm liking that. I really don't want any canvas showing at the bottom or the top. But I thought this would work. It's always a good idea to get the things that do not belong out before you swipe again. This spatula is on my Amazon link, by the way. It comes in 2 sizes. I discovered it like 7 years ago. I was the first. I don't want any more things in my paint, please. I am going to have to come back after it's dry and... What are you? A texture in the canvas? It's a bird! It's not a plane. I forget to mess up my stripes. Okay, I've got 3 minutes. At least my timer's working this time. 3 minutes and then my camera will shut off. So I'm going to keep working until I can't work anymore. And then it'll be a second and it'll be tomorrow and it'll be dry and I'll be back. And maybe I'll put a fireball sky, a sun in the sky. I was thinking about it. I can't really do it now. Although I'd love to try. I like adding texture in some clouds, which reminds me, since we have that time, if I find the Love You pink, I can put some clouds in. While the paint is still nice and wet. And I like the idea of some jasmine with the Love You pink. Right on the spatula. And I think no matter how bad I want to camouflage that spot, if there's something that has to come out, I need to get it out. But I'm not sure it's something I can get out. I might even put trees along the horizon line. There's no way to tell yet. I want to see how close I can get. So close I'm going to have to use a brush to fill in. If that edge had dried, I so want that to be yellow. I just can't get close enough. I probably can. I feel like I'm just not being brave. So that's that for right now. And I have to remember I don't need to turn my canvas around. But I am going to look for some green paint to fill in that little gap. Alright, I'll see you guys in a second. Or I'll see you when I'm done painting that right now, as long as I don't forget to stop. It's time to keep it moving until the glop sets in. I'd like to cover that top edge so it doesn't show, but it's not that easy. Alright, I'm going to take a couple minutes, make sure that all the edges I need covered are covered and all the drips that are dripping are scavenged. Tell you guys I love you. I'll be back in a minute. I said that. Alright. Do I have any paint I can steal? I kind of think so. So the painting is dry. It's the next day, and I've got a couple of Princeton Art Tool Catalyst spatulas with good, nice edges on them, and some Tuscan Sun that had Chantilly lace mixed into it. And I'm going to try and just add my yellow where I wanted to yesterday using just the spatula. And so far, it seems to be working. I may need some other tool like a skewer or a paintball skewer to nudge some more stuff into place. I want to put some more clouds in the sky, and I definitely want to add some highlights to the green. Sorry about my head. I'm sure my head was in the way. My eyes are getting worse every day, and it makes it really hard not to want to lean in. I like the white to a degree, so I kind of thought about putting some Chantilly lace along the horizon line. But I also like the idea of adding some lines, some more areas of yellow above. I also still think that this shape here would be a nice big, a huge sun. So I'm just putting a few more little rays of sun peeking through. That one I'm going to dip right in. So I'm sort of using it as a brush, I guess. And I could definitely use my finger. And I'm really almost done with this portion, which I should probably be not speaking and fast forwarding through, but you guys have put up with enough already. And my glasses should need to be cleaned for sure. So you could use Tuscan Sun or any yellow. The Vivid Intense, oh gosh, there's a bunch of them. There's light yellow, Hansa yellow, there's dark Hansa yellow, there's, I like this color. This is yellow, Hansa yellow. I put some orange in that one too. I like to do that. So I haven't made up my mind completely if I'm going to go and put Cell Activator anywhere in the bottom. But I kind of think it would be interesting to put some colors out into my the bottom of my butter dish, including this yellow, and use a spatula. To apply a larger spatula, I should say. So let's just take a little bit of this, whip it off and put the top back on it. And I have the top, yay. I also have some Vivid Intense blue-green, I think. It's just been, I think it got mixed with Floetrol. I'm not going to mix anything too thoroughly. And I'm definitely going to use some more of the bitter lime, which I really enjoyed yesterday. Except for it seems to have plugged itself up. So I'm going to open it up and just pour some out there. And I've got bottle threads. I'm going to have to clean that tip out somehow. I have another color I haven't used much of lately. I love it. I used it up a long time ago pretty much, so there was not much in the bottle, so I tipped my bottle and let it drain. This is SeaGlass. That I'm hoping I can get some to come out. Nope, I got to pull the top right off. Okay, I see. The little windows inside the tip, that's what they remind me of, windows in a church tower. They get full of moist paint and sort of get thick. So I'm also going to throw, just for grins, a couple more colors in there, including this combination of frosted that had magenta, ultramarine blue, dioxazine violet. It's just basically a custom color. I don't know if you can see this, but you'll see it in a second. I didn't put my Fandango in yet. I figure any bright colors that I add in there are nice as an accent, including this jasmine, because I can. And they could all be flowers. And here's some Indian Spice Gold. So I don't know how this is going to go, and I really was planning on doing this the clouds before the bottom, but I think if I want to work on the top, it'd be nice to have this yellow start to be set up. So let me grab my spatula that I thought I had already. And here are my colors. There's the bitter lime and the custom purple and the blue green that's vivid intense. Now, the reason I'm taking a chance on this is because it turned out very dark. And I have never really given myself the opportunity I'm taking right now to mess with the color system. I think it'll add dimension, I'm pretty sure. It might even be something I can push right up to that horizon line. And I might have some left. Don't get me wrong, I like a lot of the things about the colors that I have. They just wound up being a little more uniform than I was hoping for. And as I lay them in, I see that they're definitely creating the impression or the illusion of dimensionality or depth. And I like that very much. I could just take one little part. I want to try the cell activator so bad. So let me grab some of that over here where the paint is looking kind of thin. And let me just do that. Because I can always wipe it off with a paper towel if I don't like it. So I've got Amsterdam Black Cell Activator. That's gold. They're both made with Australian Floetrol. I'm going to go kind of light. And if all it does is make a difference in texture, I guess I'll be okay with that. And I can always go back and bring some more colors in there. Yeah, I think I need a much heavier layer of paint if I'm going to do that. So basically that was just like adding a little black for texture. But I don't mind it. I am going to find something to put over this dish after I snag just a little more color out of it. Use the short side of the spatula. I like the accidental nature of what happens when I take a risk. And it's hard to tell. I'm not going to tell you it isn't when enough is too much, or vice versa. And I can also remove paint, as you just noticed, if you noticed, because the paint underneath is dry, just by pulling my spatula back through. going to grab a little bit more. I was overzealous with the amount that I used. The rest of it can probably go along the edges, I'm thinking, perfectly. So what I'll do is I'll throw a piece of acetate over that right now so it doesn't dry out. That was the acetate falling. Oh, I got an actual cover for something. Alright, so now, let me grab a skewer. And that's not fresh paint, fortunately. Stick it in any little spots I see that are gaps. And move along. And put some clouds in my... I'm going to throw that spatula in the bucket and grab another one. And I'm going to use a dish. I like what happened there. Take that nubby out. Or try. It's frozen in the dish. That's what you get for not cleaning your tools appropriately. I'm going to put this the long way across. I might be tempted to put a little bit, I don't know why, but I'm going to be tempted to put a little bit of that Indian spice in there. And the jasmine. And just for grins, a little chantilly lace too. Because I know the jasmine is capable of taking anything over. So that's what I've got. I want to pounce on that. I see those bubbles. Could probably make some fairly decent texture just by doing what I was just doing with the spatula on paint that's getting tacky. So I like stripes when this happens, and these are definitely bright pink surreal clouds, and I'm not unhappy with them at all. I kind of think if I put the sun in early enough, I might have it dry by now, but I don't know. I'm not minding how the gold looks. It doesn't really show up much, but it will change the color ever so slightly. I'm going to knock some of that paint right over the edge. I want to use the end of my spatula and find out how that works. I don't mind it. Don't mind having the orange show through. Now I need to go to the other side, and I might go to the top a little bit too. The jasmine goes a long way when you're mixing it with a lighter color. I think I'm not done yet. And I'll use some of the white again, or the chantilly lace rather. Could be Love You Pink too. They look very similar. Just push it right into that yellow line. I haven't figured out how to do the sun yet. I kind of want to though. I don't mind that. I could probably diffuse it. Boy, am I feeling that? Oh, I think I just broke the broke the top off my bottle. The cap. Let's just try and blow into it. That gives me 3 more minutes. It'll be hazy sun. Or something. I'm not sure about this at all right now. Looks like I have drying paint. Trying to make a perfect circle without having made a perfect circle first is not the wisest move I ever made. But seeming as I'm using a spatula like a palette knife, if I happen to have any marks, it could just be construed as creative. And then I can go in and grab what? A little bit of orange crush. Put it with the rest of my colors. And diffuse the whole problem. Knock on wood. Maybe just a little more. And then I think I might be done, which is good considering that we're almost out of time. I'd like to get it right though. I really would. Which in my mind means adding some more orange to some of the other clouds or the rest of the sky, or some of the white too. I had a spatula full of sun color. I needed to do something with it. So I just wiped it off on my canvas. Okay, I've got 1 minute left. You'll see credits roll at the end, reminding you to subscribe and all that good stuff. Shop my Amazon link. It's at no added cost to you, and my 2 books, Because I Can and Unlimited Possibilities, are there. I may not have time to shimmer this at you. I think I need to get rid of those little stripes and that little blob. And maybe when I'm not freaking out about running out of time, I'll like it even better than I like it right now. It's a very cloudy sky. I just want to use up all my paint, to tell you the truth. And that's not a bad thing to do over there. Or even over here. So it's just a cloud-filled sky at this point. So this is Priscilla Batzell in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Fluid Art Studio. saying I love you. I hope you come again. Hello, I'm back again. And this is dry now. And my clouds are a little darker than I wanted them to be. So what I'm thinking about doing first is taking my almost deflated balloon roll and a little bit of Chantilly lace and a little bit of frosted berry. Whoop. That was bad. Oh well. I've also made up some some bloom heads just as an experiment, and I'm probably going to put some flowers in the bottom of this. But right now, I want to lighten up my clouds. And I was wondering if I was going to have to use my finger. And it looks like I'm going to. So before I do much of anything else, I'm going to put some lighter colors in my sky. Maybe one right there too, where I have that little tiny black dot, which I'll have to camouflage at some point in time. Sorry about my head. I don't use my fingers specifically very often, but this time I think it's imperative. And I'm sure the Chantilly lace will dry somewhat more clear than it is now. Just want to add a little dimension and lighten my sky up because it's just too darn dark. And I think I could use all of that up without a problem. Probably could even have put more in there. I guess I've got a little bit on my balloon. There, I'm kind of happier with that. And there's always tomorrow, I guess. Not that I really expect that, but there is always tomorrow. I'm going to get rid of those into the bucket. Not that that balloon isn't already ruined. Alright, so these are my experimental bloom heads, and I like this one the best. So that one is Miami Magenta, Periwinkle, Red Violet, and a little bit of Burmese Red. And I'm still not over the idea of maybe adding a little bit of something else. But I am going to dry these and use them as skins and peel them off. Use them for something else. I also wanted to show you this. Is the inside of this plastic lid made a great place for me to put down some Fandango. And then if you were willing to glue the upside down, willing to glue them in place, you'd have your stems. I am planning on using a tongue depressor and a bunch of different colors, not just one. Get that out of there. Maybe I will put that over here. Maybe we'll put this out of the way for the moment, because that paint isn't going anywhere. So I've got some triple sec. Get that chip out of here. Triple sec is a Prizm pour. Here's the Fandango. I want a bunch of different colors, and I want them to look kind of organic, but I'm not sure I'm good enough at it to guarantee that, so I'm just trying to be willy-nilly and hoping that that helps my cause. This is Bitter Lime. I believe this is a Prizm pour. This is a color I really like. It's brighter. It's more like a vivid. And I'm hoping they'll mix. And I'm going to take a risk and put a little bit of shiny taffeta, which is a Prizm pour in there. And also, speaking of risks, I've got a beautiful color I need to make up more of, SeaGlass. Hopefully it'll come out. It's the very end of the bottle, which would imply that I might have problems with a marble, but I don't see a marble, so I do see a plug. And I'm not seeing anything happen. So I guess I give up. Unless I take the top off. There, I got a little bit. Cool. Very cool. I love this color. SeaGlass, like I said, if I didn't say, primary element. Wonderful color. And if it drips, all the better. I'll put some more of that in there. I've also got a little wintergreen. And I have no idea how much of this I'm going to use. And what else? Do I want anything else? I have another color. I'm tempted by the Mystique, which is another primary element. And if it'll come out, I'm going to use it. Because all those different colors together make it more interesting for me. And then I've got my other colors ready to go for my flower head. So let's put that down over here. Get a couple of things out of the way. Bring the painting back. You know what? I want my other colors before I do anything. I want to place my flower heads. And I've got a good straw. And I'm just going to go for it. And I want to put my flower heads mostly into the green area. That is Periwinkle. That's a Vivid Intense. This is Miami Magenta. Those are probably way too big. I've got to make smaller ones. This is the Red Violet, which is a Vivid Intense. And I put the tiniest little dab of this Burmese Red. And then some Australian Floetrol and Amsterdam Black. Cross your fingers. Straight down in the middle. One good blow, and I think that's going to be fine. I still want some of my crabapple, but I think if I do that, I'm going to have to add it somewhere else. I'm nervous about doing more than one or two of these at a time, but I'm going to try and do two. Periwinkle, Miami Magenta. Let's see if I can get a little of that crabapple to come out. A little dab will do you, hopefully. Actually, it was so thick I had to add a little bit more pouring medium, which is Vivid Intense. No, it's not. It's Vivid Polypore. Oh, come on. Gotta be more careful, evidently. That's the Miami Magenta. Anyway, so I added the Vivid Polypore and I added a little bit of distilled water. And it was still pretty thick. I have to decide if I'm going to add one of these up in the sky, and I might. That's not going in the center, and it's also acting plugged up. I am getting tired of that. Let's grab a paper towel, squeeze out the excess water, and wipe it up. Cool. Do I need more than 3? I'm not sure. I probably don't need all the green that I put out there. I don't mind it with the crabapple though. I kind of like it. I'm really tempted by a little bit of the frosted berry. I gotta quit squeezing those out. So I'm thinking one on the edge of the sky might be okay. I'm going to change the order up a little bit and see what happens. Red, violet, vivid, intense, fluorescent, periwinkle, Miami magenta. I'm going to skip the Burmese red. I'm glad my canvas is dry, because that means I can wipe anything up I want. See, that Chantilly lace is already disappearing. I like the lighter color. I need probably, I'm going to want at least 7 of these. Kind of want one right there. I don't want it to be huge. I'm going to start with the Burmese red, just a dot. It may or may not work, but being that it's on the bottom, it probably won't even show up. There's the frosted berry. Periwinkle. I like them to be a little bit different from each other. Like they're catching the light. Miami magenta. Did I miss anything? Not really. Well, I guess the crabapple could go in there. No, we'll skip it this time. One of these times I want to put a little Chantilly lace in. And that was a double drip. At least it wasn't a triple drip. Oh wow, that's cool. The Burmese red showed right up in the bottom. Just made everything interesting. Wow. And I'm going to use a Q-tip. Take some of that black out of there, because it's just more than I want. I kind of like this pale blue color up there, and I've got some pale blue mixed frostbite with vivid intense ultramarine blue. And now that I know it's going to come out if I stick it in the bottom, well, I'm surmising that it might come out. Helps if you open it all the way. Really, it should. There we go. Do I want to risk the Burmese red? No, I'm going to just go for the lighter colors this time. This is the periwinkle. I think I said vivid intense. Pretty sure, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure. Red violet. Miami magenta. There was probably more of that than I was looking forward to. Try and control the amount of black. Really? I do so love working on a dry canvas stage. I'm tempted to try that blue with a little bit of the crabapple, and I've got 6, so let's go for 7. Go right up in the sky if I can. Let me check my bottle tip, which looks completely clogged. So I'm going to attempt to be very cautious. And put that aside so I can clean it in a while. Alright, so I really like how that turned out, but I want it a little darker. I am going to do it. I'm going to try the crabapple primary element, which I'm really happy to be getting something out of. And the red violet, vivid intense fluorescent, and so far I'm liking everything that the Miami magenta does. It's fun to change it up and see what's going to happen, and I also like them to be different. I think I said that already. I also like it when I don't drip. I wouldn't mind if some were a little tipped, but they're not, so that's okay. Alright, I don't need my long stick. And I have a couple of short ones, and that's probably going to work just fine by me. I might even move them over to this side. Plug up my bottle so it doesn't dry in the bottle for the sea glass. Keep my wet rag handy. Check for bumps on your stick. I kind of want to put an angle in there, which is not the easiest thing in the world. Of course, I used up all my time. Now, I wanted to do this for a while. Just play with a leaf shape by pulling out the edges of it with my bamboo skewer. I think I'm going to put a little. They're probably bigger than they could have been. I thought I was going to stop them at the edge, before the edge of the canvas, but that's not the way it worked out. I'm hoping that I can do all of this. And whatever I can't do is going to look a lot like that. Although there's a couple bubbles in there that need to be gone. Starting with that one. Moving on to that one. Come on, go away. Come on, you can go away. One more. Alright, back to it. I was kind of thinking the stem would be a little skinnier than that looks. Which means I might want to fatten up the others. I definitely want to put some leaves on. I don't think I'm going to have time to put them all on in this. I guess there's always turning the camera off and starting again. I'm trying to give them a little bend in their stems so they look like they might be leaning in the wind. And I really suspect that anywhere there's a little blob, I'll just put a leaf in. I thought they'd be thinner stems, but I'm not really unhappy either. So I don't want to put anything in without trying to give them that hairy little textural edge. But I'm letting myself get a feeling rushed, and I shouldn't worry about it. Well, maybe I should worry about it. Alright. So I'm going to turn the camera off, and I'll be back in a second to finish my leaves. I'm going to finish my leaves like I said I was. And anything else that needs to be done. I kind of wonder if I can take a skewer. I wonder why those things are bubbling up. I'm getting bubbles. I should have started at this end and moved my way across. Kind of like the skewer I've got because it's got a split paintball on the end, which creates instant texture. You can tell because it leaves little striations in the pulls. They should look something like poppies. That one is sort of being interrupted by its flower head. So paintball is just a dried accumulation of paint on a skewer. It doesn't have to be large, but it doesn't have to be small. And no matter what size it is, it's probably going to be useful. It's my opinion, and I'm going to stick with it. I hope I'm not sorry I didn't make my flower head smaller. But I actually really like this. I haven't actually taken much of time to look at it just to follow through with what I'm doing. I don't think there's any necessity for perfection when doing your little leaves. Because everything that isn't perfect sort of gives it the impression of dimension, at least in my opinion. Like it's got a shadow or catching the light or some variation on that theme. I think I could add a whole lot of leaves. But I'm not sure somebody wouldn't tell me that there weren't supposed to be so many. It's not like I haven't seen poppies often enough. And it's not like they're real poppies anyway. But I do kind of want to drag the flower head petals right above the little nodule right down so you don't see the ball. And it doesn't look like it's just stuck there, if you know what I mean. Alright, so far so good. I'm liking this a lot. There is no perfection. If you have a lot more time than I do, you can be as perfectionist as you want. Honestly, I can't complain about time anymore since I can stop and start my camera and I'm doing editing. But it does make for pretty long videos, so I apologize for that. You can always fast forward. I just want to make the leaf edges rough by dragging something, anything, to give the impression of a ruffled edge or a striated edge, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure there's even a better word. Fuzzy edge. There you go. And you probably shouldn't have to wait till the very end for me to call this good. But you might as well. You're here. I'm here. So I should tell you, please give me a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind. Sharing my videos is a big assistance to me. I really appreciate those of you who have become members. You have access to 150 plus videos in the members only library if you decide to become a member. If you are somebody who donates through PayPal, the icon's on the bottom right hand corner of my YouTube channel banner, and basically you have my eternal gratitude because yeah, that's what's helping me stay on YouTube and paint. I'm liking my leaves. I know I keep saying that. It's like I'm trying to reassure myself. I keep thinking I won't be liking my leaves, but I'm liking my leaves. Redundant as I sound. So you see, I'm not starting at the stem and moving up, because when I put my little paintball down away from the stem, then it graduates to smaller place, and I can pull out the other side and make it long and thin also. I want my paintball for essentially to be in the center of the leaf before I start manipulating the paint. I know the leaves are supposed to be a lot wider, but for some reason I'm not giving myself time because I've already taken so much time of your time and my time. And it's getting close to dinner time. I can hear them in the kitchen. Hear him in the kitchen. I can hear my husband in the kitchen. Alright, so what have I got? I've got a little something over here that needs to be fattened up. And I could put some other stems in, but I guess I'm going to just be lazy. And if tomorrow tells me that I should do that, it's not really a difficult thing to do, for not for you, not for me. So I'm going to shimmer this at you. I'm going to wish that I put some more white. I'm going to wish I mixed some vivid, intense white in with my Chantilly lace to make it lighter. But my clouds did come out a little bit lighter. And I'm going to, like I said, it's time to shimmer. And 7 flowers is a good number. I'm not saying I won't work on my leaves a little more when you're gone. Like so. Clean up my colors. Alright, pretty simple. Just got to follow through. I love you guys. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. My email address is easpbgallery and the word gallery spelled out at gmail.com. If you don't find a complete recipe for paint pouring or for cell activator underneath the video, please just ask me in comments on the community board or in comments under the video. In my description, you're going to find a 20% off Colourarte coupon code nearby and a 10% off Pixel Paint Designs coupon code nearby. Questions are encouraged, I'm trying to tell you. And my Amazon link has my 2 books, Because I Can and Unlimited Possibilities. And what am I missing? Spring Clothing under the video, and The Gallerist, and Society 6, and Pixels.com and Fine Art America are all places you can have my artwork reproduced and added to whatever their merchandise is. And Fine Art America is a great place to get a print made. And I love them when they're on metal. I give lessons at the house in Spring Hill, Florida, and I do sell my artwork, and I love you guys. You inspire me every day, and I'm back to posting 7 days a week right now, and I think it's going to stay that way for a while because it wasn't a good thing. And no, I love you guys. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now. Priscilla out.